Hello Simmers, and welcome back to my channel for my second speed build. In this speed build, I was wanting something kind of whimsical, kind of cluttered, kind of eclectic. I can't really explain, I don't know if there's like a style to this, but it's kind of a mixture of all the things I just said. So I imagine the sim who lives here is kind of eccentric. I honestly kind of thought of an old lady living here with her cats, but I wanted it to be kind of, when I think about the style that I wanted and all of those characterizing words that I used to describe it a second ago, I kind of think of like a wizard house when I say all of that stuff, but like not like the Sims spellcasters, because like they're kind of like their stuff is kind of fancy with the crystals and whatnot. I mean, yeah, crystals are nice, but it just wasn't the style that I was looking for, and everything had like really fancy accents on the pieces, like on the pieces of furniture, and or like shiny lights. I didn't want that. I wanted it to be like kind of old, like actually really old. I wanted the building to look incredibly old, but clean, but then also super cluttered, because the sim is just super eccentric. She just keeps everything she finds. She just has random stuff everywhere, and she loves books and reading, and she just has everything. So when I was searching for design ideas, I really had trouble because I couldn't figure out what to look for. So eventually because I was thinking about like a wizard, I kind of thought about like the Weasleys from Harry Potter, and how their house looked. So I tried to look up like the Burrow interior design style, or the Burrow from Harry Potter's home style, right? Like those, I just searched those different things. And I got some stuff. I was looking for like witch's cottage or cluttered witch's cottage. I was just searching for everything, and eventually I did stumble upon two things that kind of inspired me, and how I built the build. So I'm gonna pop those up on the screen right now. Okay, so this is them. I wanted like a layered house, like multiple floors, and really skinny. And then the cluttered up the bottom picture, the clutterness. So that's exactly what I was looking for. And now I just needed to find how I was going to get there in The Sims. Building was fine. I didn't really have any trouble building once I started. And I wanted the sim to like live on a property that I had done like terrain manipulation on, just because I wanted the stairway leading to the house, especially because I wanted the pond, and I like how the stairway is kind of windy. I mean, I know there's only two curves, but the idea is there, and I didn't have too much room to work with just because I wanted to build here. Oh, by the way, I'm building in Glimmerbrook. I just thought it fit the build, so that's where I built. So yeah, going through the build, looking for stuff to clutter was absolutely insane. I spent so much time just flipping through the catalog. Oh my gosh, it was absolutely horrible. Oh, here, this. I had so much trouble with the windows. I couldn't find the right windows that I wanted, because a couple of times when I chose the windows that I wanted, they were not placing. I don't know what the deal was. I actually cut it out of one of my edits because it was just a ridiculous amount of time spent trying to place these windows, and I eventually got frustrated to the point where I was like, okay, I need to turn this off. So I did turn it off. I saved, left the game, and I thought, well, maybe I have some mod or something in here that's like broken. I'm not sure. Not broken, but like not updated from an update. So I just installed everything, and then the only thing that I put back on was Tool and Better Build by Twisted Mexi. So and then everything seemed to work from there, and I got the windows that I wanted to place. They actually are I think they're the ones from Cottage Living. They have like the shutters, so those are the ones that I wanted, and I did get them in, so that was good. I mean, I do use the smaller ones from Cottage Living also, but the big ones are the ones that I wanted. And honestly, I'm not even sure if I even kept them in the finished product, which is super ironic because I worked so hard on getting them in, and I spent so much time trying to get them in, and I really truly don't think I left them in the build. Yeah, here I'm just placing the rocks around all the terrain manipulation, just because, you know, you don't want to see that brown colored terrain because it's at such a different height than, and I didn't want to smooth it, because every time I would smooth it, it would start showing the foundation on the house, or it would mess with the pond, and I just didn't want it to mess with any of that stuff because I had it exactly the way I liked it. One of my favorite things to do when doing landscaping is doing like a secret garden type thing, and then like creating like windy pathways around this garden. And I don't even know what made me decide to do oh yes, I do. Okay, so my son, gonna be 13 this year, he was like, your house looks lopsided. I was like, I know, buddy, it's supposed to look like that. He's like, well, it just looks weird. And I was like, okay, so maybe it does look weird. So I tried to put like a pillar. Well, I tried to make a pillar just like out of a one square room. And I was like, no, I don't like that. It's too thick. So then I put a pillar, but there was no pillar that I could find that like matched or like looked good, like the style that I wanted. And I was like, do I want it looking like it's on stilts? Not really. So I thought, okay, let's scrap that. But then I just kept being like, okay, but I don't think it looks weird, but he does. So some people might think it looks weird. And I'm not trying to like please everyone, but maybe I just thought it looked cool because that's what I had in my head. But it actually does look weird. I don't know. So I decided, because I have all this rock, like we could have built the house around with the terrain in mind, right? So they could have used the rock as like, they built it on the rock, kind of. So the big rock in front is like almost acting as the pillar on the corner. So I was like, okay, well now I feel like now I need to do something with this. So I was like, oh my gosh, it would be so cool, because the idea I had in my head for this sim, because she's super eccentric and wizard-like, I don't know how else to describe her. I was like, she's gonna have like a garden in the back. I really kind of was thinking in my head like she would have like herbs and spices and all this herbalistic stuff in her backyard, flowers, all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, I really wanted her to have a garden anyway, so what a perfect idea. But then I was like, oh, I really want her to have like wildflowers, but like I didn't have enough room for a separation between like, because I wanted to have like oversized crops, even though they aren't herby. I still wanted to have a couple of those square patches for the oversized crops. But I was like, there's not enough room for all that. So we're just gonna fill in some of the lavender looking stuff, the lavender looking plants, and then we'll do sunflowers and some weeds and get that wild feel. I tried to do the oversized crops, and even with having the space that I had, I just felt like it did not fit. It just didn't, I didn't like it. So I scrapped that, and then I just did small little planters, and I thought that worked out. And I felt like, okay, this still doesn't look very whimsical. So I tried to like fill the middle in with some, like, they're not really wildflowers because wildflowers are like big and tall and whatnot, but I did try there, see? I used these little ones. I don't even know what they are, but I felt like it worked. I mean, I don't know what kind of flowers they are, but I felt like it did the job. It like brought out that wildy look for me. And then I put mushrooms. Oh, mushrooms, it helps so much. I just think they're so cute. It's kind of like storybook. That's what I kind of was going, like the storybook feel. I don't know, I had so much fun decorating the landscape on this. I spent so much time on the landscape, probably more than on the interior, which is ironic because of all the clutter that I put in there. But the landscaping was so much fun to me, and landscaping used to be the worst. I used to hate landscaping. And then, actually, I really didn't even, I loved building in The Sims, but for a while I stopped because I was like, this is kind of the same thing all the time. So actually, the last time I played The Sims was Sims 3, and I remember the horses. Like, I remember horses from Sims 3, so that was like, I don't know, was roughly around the horse newness, being new in The Sims 3 horses. And then I had my first child, I think around, maybe a little after that I had my first child. I also didn't really have a computer, even growing up, but my brother gave me like a computer that like old computer. Well, it just didn't work very well because, you know, I mean, it was old and kind of have to have a better computer to run The Sims. Anyway, I just stopped playing. It just wasn't, I just didn't have time, I guess. I'm not really sure. But then I don't know, life continued. I had another baby. I have 3 babies. And then I stumbled across a speed build on YouTube. I have no idea how I stumbled across it, but it was Jessica Pye. And I was so inspired. Absolutely more inspired than I ever had been. And it just went from there. And yeah, I started buying up packs, and yeah, it was so much fun. And anyway, because of her landscaping, I love landscaping now. It is because of her. Cluttering, it is because of her. Also, obviously, I feel like mod creators need to have like a mention or a shout out here too, because I wouldn't be able to do what I did without like Twisted Mexi, to be like 100% fair, because I use Tool all the time. Also, obviously I better build by, because I can search with like debug and whatnot. So I'm using Tool right here. I kind of wanted it to look like there was like just a chair just left out, like not pushed in, but like it kept going into the rock. I don't know, I was struggling. I kind of struggled in little bits of this house, and I didn't really realize it until I watched this back for the first time doing like editing. But yes, I struggled. You're also gonna notice that when you see me doing the floor plan, it turns out different. I actually made a copy of the house and placed it in Glimmerbrook, and was like, okay, I have this floor plan, but I'm gonna try another one. I don't want to ruin this one because I like it to an extent, but I think it could be done better. So yeah, I did it, and in the first one I had like a stairwell in the center kind of, and it wound up, where this one is just like a single staircase and then a single staircase. But here I'm using Tool again to put clutter in the windows. I kind of wanted to keep like all of her house, like, yeah, there's electricity, but like not good electricity, I guess. So I have a lot of lanterns all around her house. I'm not sure, because I wanted it to go for that old feel. Like she even has like a wood burning stove. Like I mean, I think it's gas, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's wood underneath it. So yeah, I'm just cluttering up her dining room area, if you will. I mean, it's like a little nook, but I don't know if it can be classed as a dining room, but that's what I said. This was really fun. Oh, okay, so I really felt like her walls should be covered, but like what was I gonna cover her walls with besides pictures and artwork and stuff? So I used the like cross stitch or needle point or whatever it is, little circle things, and pictures like all over. I mean, and I also wanted like herbs, right? So that's why there's lots of flowers on the wall and stuff. Like I just felt like it kind of gave that vibe. I know that it's not, and I know that there is dried herbs, and I do use them at some point, but I forgot about them while I was doing the kitchen area and like the downstairs, but I just find it funny that I forgot about them even though like I was putting other stuff on the walls. I don't know. Here I'm adding, I wanted her to have like a pile of wood somewhere. I didn't feel like the ones that come in like debug like matched the feel that I was looking for, because I just want it to be like stacked wood. I didn't want it to be in anything, right? Like having a holder, I don't even know if that's the right word, or like something encasing it. I just want it to be just wood left on her floor in a nice pile, but it's still left on her floor. The build took me a really long time. I actually wanted to be able to put more like personal, I wanted to play more on this build. I didn't really get to play too much on it. I did move in a sim. It's not an old lady sim, but it's a sim that I use for like testing builds. So we played a little bit, but the build took me a long time. But I was doing it on all of my free time, when the kids went to bed, on my lunch from work. I work from home, so I'm so lucky to work from home because I can do that. But then I would like pay for it later, because usually I use my lunch to like prep dinner or like tidy around the house, you know, just, I don't know. That's what I usually do, but lately I've just been building because I want to get more videos up, and I don't really have any footage of builds. I have so many builds I could share, however, I don't have any videos to make the speed builds with, so I need to make more videos of my builds so that I can continue to upload. Here I am trying to figure out how I was gonna get like the gallery walls placed. See, I wanted it to look old, so I added the wall decals with where it looks like the wall is like the plaster's kind of falling away. And some stain, I put some stain stuff on the floor, I think, but you can't really tell anyway. And on the walls also. And I also used like this, is it from Seasons? I think it's from Seasons. But the spider webs, because I thought that would add some, like a nice old touch. Oh, here we're in the screenshots. Well, I hope you guys enjoy. I did cut out a lot. I didn't want it to be too long, but I hope you enjoy. You can find this build on the gallery, and my gallery ID is Bubblini911. And yeah, I hope you come back for the next build. Bye!